Alrighty. First of all, Miss Lacuna, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. I did not expect that. So, I don't talk about VTuber-related stuff on my main channel, and I even had a debacle over whether to put this on the main one or put it on Neko Suris, but I realized that this conversation's more about gatekeeping than anything else, so I figured that this is probably meant more for the main channel, where we deal with people who gatekeep things like trans issues, or gatekeep things like being a skeptic or an atheist or stuff like that. So it's probably more centered for this one, but just if the tone of this video seems weird, it's because I'm in that middle ground. I don't know where it's supposed to go. We're gonna put it on the main one though. Okay? So, first of all, fan art section as usual. So from Aura Echoes, we have Ocean and me. Ocean, Suris, what did you do? Me, I didn't mean to. Suris, what did you do? It just slipped out. Now we have the coming storm, and it's going to get very messy. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, you are. This is not something that was able to go up in the fan art section, and if you do want to post fan art like this, it's not going to be able to go into our public fan art section, so please don't even try. You will just get disappointed. This, I had to have Aura Echoes, who's been a member of the community for years. Even then, having posted fan art for years, I still needed to have them send this to me privately, not in the fan art section, because it does not belong there. But if you do want to support the channel and throw fan art in, then please throw it into the fan art section of the Discord. Yeah, it is one heck of a tornado. It's a dick of a tornado at the end of the day. Padaline, thank you very much for the 100 bits. I just want a hype train because reasons. Don't throw hype trains up during the middle of recording videos. You butt. Anyway, okay. So, it's about this thing. The topic is this thing. This is a twit longer. The actual user, I mean, it's there because if you have been on the VTuber side of Twitter for any amount of time, you know what this article is. Everybody's seen it. Everybody knows what it is. So I'm just going to talk about it, because I know there's a lot of people in my audience who aren't part of the VTuber community. They don't, they know that I do VTubing, because obviously they're watching, but they care more about my take on politics, more about my take on philosophy. The fact that I'm a VTuber is secondary to them. But there are some people in my community who are into the VTuber community, whether it's the indie side, with people like me and Ellie and Lunar Valkyrie or Miss Lacuna, or they're in the more like HoloLive side of things, or VShojo, where they care about the big corporate side, the big people, people like Nyanners, for instance, or Iron Mouse. Depending on which side you end up caring about, this kind of applies to everybody. So let's go ahead and look here. Apparently there's a previous tweet. I don't care about the previous tweet. So, the article begins saying, and I'm going to use the Tristan voice because this is really fucking stupid. I want to preface this by saying that there are plenty of wonderful English VTubers out there who I genuinely enjoy watching and interacting with. This is not directed at them. I wish them nothing but the best. But that said, it's shocking how much joy has been sucked out of an interest I've enjoyed for almost 5 years now. Literally since the dawn of VTubing. By hordes of normies with no clue what it even means to be a VTuber. Alright, so, first problem. Normies. What you want, if you enjoy a hobby, you want normies in. I know that seems counterintuitive to a lot of people, but you want it accepted in the mainstream, because what that means is it is more marketable to do things for your hobby. There will be more people involved in your hobby, so there are more people to talk about. There's a more diverse opportunity and more diverse set of opinions within your hobby for you to interact with. Paddling, thank you very much for the gift, the tier 1 sub. You want regular people enjoying your hobby. It's what you want. And again, it seems counterintuitive, but if things stay niche, that's where they die. Niche things die over time. You don't want to gate people out of your community, and your community doesn't change because more people are normalizing it. But continuing on, if you're going to tweet,
IRL insta-thought pics, not even bother with the slightest semblance of a character, then in my opinion, you are nothing but a room temperature IQ normie who hopped on a bandwagon for clout and simp bucks.
Alright, so, let's talk about VTubing as a career. Also, apparently, we are on a hype train now because despite me saying I didn't want that happening in the middle of a video, there are simp bucks happening, I guess. Anywho, point is, so, a couple things here. Room temperature IQ normie. You don't know what everybody's IQ is, and IQ doesn't even matter. IQ means nothing. Clout, money, etc., whatever. If you are a streamer, at the end of the day, doing things for money is not a bad thing. And the reason why is a lot of us do this as a job, or some of us do this aspiring to make it a job. If you are wanting to make it a job, or it is your job, then regardless of what other people think, you getting money for the thing you do as your job, or your potential job, is not a bad thing. Moreover, people sending somebody else money because they think they're attractive doesn't mean that suddenly you got sent less money. People weren't sending you money to begin with. I also know that Cooney, or Eldritch Mom, recently did a video on this guy that was called, like, How to Ruin an Entire Career in a single tweet. Nobody was sending you money in the first place. And I'm not trying to talk about the individual here so much as the idea, because the issue here is not that there's one individual who's saying this thing. We know that the person's wrong. The problem is there are people who agree with this take, and I'll show a little bit of that later in the video. There are people who have this idea that VTubing should be one thing or should be another thing, or should be gatekept from other people. By this logic, I'm not a VTuber, despite what I've been doing for the past... When did Rimixen finish the model? March? I have, by now, 6. I have 6 models. Multiple environments for playing my models in. We have the chibi model that I haven't used yet. We have the made model that was done by BonBon. This model done by BonBon. The regular 3D model done by BonBon. And then, of course, we have the various iterations of the live 2D model that have all been done by Rimixen and improved over time. So what I'm doing is apparently not VTubing. It can't be, because I'm not a character. I'm just me. Hell, when I was on anniversary with Raz, when we went to the beach, somebody called out my name at the beach because my voice was recognizable. And, yep, shout out to the person who did it. I don't want to say their name because you never know who else is listening. But, point is, it's happened. I don't play a character. I am just me. By this logic, I'm not VTubing. Apparently.
This isn't a complicated concept. There is meant to be a crucial separation from reality, which you promptly flush down the toilet for sake of your daily social media attention fix. You clearly aren't satisfied with compliments being directed at your VTuber avatar. It needs to be directed at you.
So, why does that matter? Also, Casual Snark, thank you for the 100 bits. And Paddling, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Almost as bad as people that gatekeep showing toes on stream. Free the toes, you monster. Does this model have toes? Does this model have... The model has toes. I have toes. I've shown the toes. There you go. Congratulations. That's what you wanted. It's there. You're biased. Okay, so, looking at this, though, if somebody wants to have attention directed at them, who cares? Especially if it is YouTubers or streamers or what have you. Guess what? I hate to tell you this. All streamers are some... There is some level of thinking that we should have attention paid to us in some way. Because otherwise, why would we want you watching us play video games? Why would we care about you listening to us talk about politics, etc.? It is fairly normal, and it does not matter. It is an aspect shared by most of us. We want people watching us because it's how we get to do our jobs. If there are not viewers in the chat, then we don't get to function. That's literally how it works. Box of Paint, I hate it when people show up, do their jobs, and work their jobs. It makes me look bad. Jesus Christ. Oi, oi, oi. But, you know, the idea that the attention needs to be directed at you or directed at your avatar, there's functionally no difference there to me. Like, really, if the attention's directed to your avatar, it's directed to you by proxy, or directed to your artist by proxy. I don't see enough of a distinction there to really care. And the idea that people are posting that because they need to be validated at all times, sometimes people just post pictures because they think they're neat. Like, I don't need people to tell me that my food looks good when I post it on social media, but I nonetheless, whenever I make a meal that I'm proud of, I take a picture of it and I put it on Twitter. Probably should go on Instagram, but I'm not good at social media, so screw me. And also, yeah, Agender Solandit's right in the chat. Validation is exactly a bad thing anyway. It's when you're being validated for something that's bad. But if you post a picture and people say, hey, you're attractive, cool. Like, that's no different than, like, me going up to one of my friends and saying, hey, look, you look cute today. It doesn't matter. Now, going on.
A VTuber is a virtual character, which is what defines it as its own unique form of content. It boggles my fucking mind how people have trouble with this. All you have to do is put on some semblance of a character, make some form of video content, and not post IRL content on main.
If I want to post IRL content on main, I will. I don't care. I'm sorry. There is no Bible of VTubing that says that I cannot post IRL pictures or IRL content on main. If I want to show Growlithe running around in... Okay, look. If I want to show Growlithe running around outside in a video, I will. If I want to do anything IRL, I will. Other people will. I don't want to show all their pictures because I don't know who is comfortable having their real-life pictures shown in one of my videos. But if you go to Twitter right now, this idea, because this person has shrieked that nobody is allowed to show, like, IRL stuff on main, people are posting infinitely more pictures of themselves live now. Because I don't do IRL content, but the idea of doing a character is very hard for me as a mute streamer because my character isn't mute. Yeah, like... I hadn't actually thought about that. There are people who literally cannot play a character because there are limitations there. Fair. Also, I'm saying this now in video form. If you guys have not gone over to Miss Lacuna's stream, you should do so. There, now it's in the video. You can't avoid it. It's in the VOD. Continuing on.
It's so easy, even someone like me can manage it. You don't even have to stream, for fuck's sake. Plenty of you might not remember, or even have known in the first place, but for a long time VTubers just made short YouTube videos. Streaming came about later.
Okay, so this is functionally... Oh my god. Paddling, thank you very much for the 100 bits. Damn straight you'll show Growlithe. We need more doggos and less cat. Hush, you. Cats are valid. But... Okay, this is functionally, like, you know when you go into a gaming store and there's, like, the Star Wars nerd? I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars nerd. But you know the type of person I'm talking about, where you say, hey, I like Star Wars too. And they go, did you say that you like Star Wars? Do you even know which year the Battle of Ryloth took place? Do you even know? Do you even know how many battles took place on Hoth before Empire Strikes Back? Do you even know? Call yourself a Star Wars fan. That guy. You know that guy? You're being that guy. That's who you're being right now. The elitism, the superiority complex. You're being that guy. And it's not just you. So here's the thing. This isn't just about you, person who made this tweet. This is about the idea of gatekeeping. Everybody knows that guy. Everybody knows them. Everybody has seen somebody call out somebody who just likes video games as being an e-girl or something. Everybody knows them because it's such a prevalent problem. Continuing on here.
Am I being a crotchety no-fun party pooper? Am I being unfair and unreasonable? Frankly, I think the only unreasonable thing about this is how much of my headspace I've allowed this nonsense to consume.
Congratulations, you got it in one. This is literally a non-issue, and the only person letting it affect you is you.
If you want to call yourself a VTuber, then take 10 seconds to learn what the concept is and apply it to yourself. If you can't put in the absolute bare minimum effort, then don't be surprised when co-opting and shitting all over an existing genre or interest earns you the ire of people who were already there enjoying it.
So, I'm gonna continue his post here in a second, but I want to talk about how I got into VTubing. Because I am literally the type of person that this individual hates. For me, VTubing was a means to an end. It was actually a joke in the beginning. For those of you who've been here long enough to remember, I began using an avatar for videos, but they were all edited content, and it was a still frame avatar. I eventually learned how to get that avatar animated, but that still wasn't really VTubing. I eventually moved to doing IRL facecam videos for about half a year, and then a bunch of people, probably because they didn't like my ugly face, said that they wanted the avatar videos to return. They wanted to return to the content that featured the virtual version of me. I said, cool, and I went ahead and got a VTuber avatar as sort of a joke, because for the longest time, people had been submitting in fan art of my character gender bent repeatedly. And I basically just took that as like, okay, cool. If you guys want to gender bend my character, I'll just gender bend myself. And so I submitted all the fan art that had, not all of it, but a good portion of the gender bent fan art to Rimixen. And Rimixen built the live 2D avatar off of the gender bent fan art. And then, of course, the 3D model that BonBon made was based off of Rimixen's model. It all comes back to that fan art. It all comes back to that monkey's paw joke. That whole, you wanted to do this, fine, I'll give you what you wanted, but not in the way you wanted. You wanted avatar videos to come back? Cool, but they'll be VTuber avatar videos. And it was my way of having fun. I thought it would be a fun little joke that I would use for about a month, maybe. And then I would go back to doing things as normal. But it was through doing that I got invested in VTubing, and more importantly, I got invested in the VTuber community. Because what I found was that in my community, where I talk about politics, where I talk about philosophy, where I talk about things that are mentally straining, it was a draining exercise at all times. But by VTubing, I found that I had more energy. I was able to do streams for longer. More importantly, the people I was meeting through VTubing were all some of the most wonderful, sweet, and positive people I'd ever met. And not toxically positive, the same way that you find in places like Amino or something. Like, these were people that just were legitimately good, wholesome people. Gentlefish, thank you very much for the follow. Like, I can't count the amount of just positive interactions I've had with people in the VTuber community, because despite there being drama in it, it is so much less so than the stuff that I'm used to dealing with. So I came into this going, I'm going to VTube as a fun jab at my audience. And I came out the other end going, no, I just want to do this. I want to interact with these people. I want to play around with these individuals. I want to get to know these people who enjoy this hobby the same way that I've accidentally stumbled into it. So mindsets like this, these gatekeeping type mindsets, literally prevent people from accidentally stumbling into your hobby without having all this prior knowledge in the back of their brain. This elitist mindset literally keeps people from doing what I did, where I just fell in. And I know that there's people who are going to hate that. I know that there's people who likely look at my channel and what I do and say, well, you're not a VTuber, because I cover things that VTubers don't generally talk about. I cover politics. That's not a topic that VTubers generally do. But that's because I started out doing politics and moved into VTubing, but I kept the content that I was doing the same and changed the structure, the aesthetics. Those things changed for me. But now there are other VTubers who are willing to talk about politics and stuff. If you guys have watched Zozo Horror Show, for instance, if you guys, one of the people who inspired me to start VTubing was Freaking Miss Peep, who was already talking about politics as a VTuber. Pixie Explains talks about politics as a VTuber. There are people who were doing this a little bit before me, and despite our relative size differences, and there are people who are doing it after me here, because VTubing, as I've come to understand it, is just using the avatar. Aristocracy. Another one. Aristocracy is huge. And she streams about history and politics as a VTuber. VTubing is a medium. Functionally, that is all it is. It is a medium with a culture. And what you're getting mad at, you are getting mad at people doing things that you think is counter to your culture. But nobody's ruining VTubing for you. You even admitted it yourself. You're the one allowing this to occupy things in your own mind. That's your issue. And for anybody else who has this problem, this is a you issue. It's up to you to resolve it. It's not up to every other VTuber to conform to your narrow idea of what this hobby is or can be. It's up to you to broaden your horizons to what it can be, not try to police what it ought to be. Finishing up,
just before I banged out this dumb fucking rant, I had opened my VTuber Twitter, which almost exclusively follows VTubers, because that's what I want to see is VTuber content, and was slapped with not one, but 2 different VTubers posting textbook, attention whore, please tell me how pretty I am pictures.
I'm gonna say this right now. VTubers are fucking hot. Like not the avatars. Like, the people behind them. Because if there's anything that all the responses to this doofus have demonstrated, it's that it's perfectly fine for them to post the pictures. They're all fucking attractive, every one of them. I'm kidding. That's not the actual bar here. Besides, I know VTubers are hot. Raz has a VTuber avatar. Raz is hot. Like, it doesn't matter. Continuing on, though.
So as a final, well-deserved parting shot, I have a rather unkind reality check.
Oh dear.
The majority of VTubers whose pictures I've seen, regardless of gender, are frankly just average looking. Anybody with a brain can see through the filters, the makeup, the angles. You can point all you want to the number of likes they get, but let's be honest here, even if the Ian VTuber Twitter sphere wasn't rife with this cringe, clicky, no negativity allowed hugbox attitude, it's easy as hell for something like a lingerie picture or a cute girl.
Ha! You thought you got me to say the war word.
Filterfest to break a couple hundred likes, LMAFAO.
So, Raz, shut up, you are hot. Okay, first of all, yeah, there is a prevalence of positivity in the VTuber community. I don't think that the idea that no negativity allowed is a thing there, though. Again, if no negativity was allowed, then anybody who stumbled on my content would immediately go, no, this is terrible, this is horrible. And apparently there are people who don't do that. Saying anyone with a brain can see through the filters, makeup, and angles, that's just an argument through anybody posting pictures on the internet. People use filters, people use angles, people use makeup, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you can use makeup to doll yourself up for a date, you can use makeup to doll yourself up for a picture. Arguing that any of that is cringy or anything like that, what makes you cringe makes somebody else happy. What makes you cringe makes somebody else smile. And the difference between you and those other people, if there is cringe there, they own their cringe. A great example of this, Skycam. If any of you have seen Skycam. She literally does posts like every week going, I am cringe, but I am free. Like, there's nothing wrong with aesthetics. There's nothing wrong with getting yourself prettier. If there's something wrong with getting yourself prettier, then there's something wrong with VTubing in the first place, because we are literally hiding behind idealized avatars. What you personally think, how attractive you personally think people are when they post their pictures, doesn't matter. It's not a reality check if you personally don't like what somebody else looks like. There are plenty of other people on the internet and elsewhere who don't like how you look. And it doesn't matter then either. There are people who will find you and other people attractive. What is or isn't attractive is completely subjective. There may be trends, but it's still subjective. Said, wait, it's legal to watch your... it's legal to not watch your streams. Yes, it is legal to not watch my streams. You can choose not to, and we won't send the OWO police, I think. There's always a chance we will anyway. You just kind of have to be careful. There's always the chance we do it. Always, always, always. And I have to keep saying this. This isn't about the individual. These are not uncommon ideas. If you're watching this over on YouTube, by all means, let me know in the comment section below if you've heard these ideas communicated in a different way, but from other people. Because I bet you have. And it's not just about VTubers. It's about anybody who posts anything. You've OWO'd your last what's this? Rant over. Person then says that they're done making regular content for a while. This, among other things, has put a real bummer in my mood. Okay, imagine. I just want to say this is where I'm comfortable saying something personal. Imagine seeing people's real life pictures on Twitter putting a damper on your mood so much that you would stop making content. Imagine if I did that, guys. Imagine if I did that. If I made a video on YouTube going, guys, I'm sorry, I can't make content for you anymore. You see, I went on Instagram one day, and to my shock and surprise, people posted IRL pics on the internet. You can't post IRL pics on the internet. We're all supposed to be faceless avatars here. And because you posted that, now I cannot post any content of any kind. It's ruined me. Now, that would be silly as hell. That would be silly as hell if I did that. Because it's really fucking silly. Just in general. Person says that they want to spend more time reconnecting with friends and hobbies that they enjoy. I'm happy. Go do that. Go do that. Seriously. Get yourself into a happier, more positive mental space, because takes like this are takes that are from people who really are not in a happy headspace. And I don't want to be rude when I say, please, get yourself to where you're able to enjoy making content. Get yourself to where you're able to enjoy living life without berating other people for things that, quite frankly, don't affect you and don't affect other people. It's not like a VTuber posting an IRL selfie ruins your day. It doesn't. It's not like a VTuber posting an IRL selfie destroys a hobby. It doesn't. This is the women like Star Wars and now I don't like it anymore mentality that we get from, well, again, everybody knows that guy. There was one other example of this that I wanted to show that looked really weird to me. And it's from a different user. But it says, the concentration of overexposed selfies of purple, green, and blue-haired septum piercings on Twitter must have gone up by about 3.5% yesterday. One of the main reasons I prefer Asian VTubers. And I just don't even know how to respond to that. I actually, you know what? No, we're not going to respond to that. We're not. Because we're better than that. I'm kidding. We're not better than that. Instead, we're going to do it this way. Don't respond to the person, because this is how they get attention. And I don't want to throw hate at this individual. Don't do that. But instead, let me know in the comment section below how you would respond to that particular tweet. Because this is a sentiment that is not okay. But I don't want to expound on that. Because by expounding on that, I might potentially poison the well of whatever anybody else decides would be what they're due. So it'll be a little project. It'll be a little project. Asian VTubers with avatars of all colors and rainbows who like to talk about selling butt plugs. Hey, I hate Twitch. That's a wonderful idea. Butt plugs are a great thing. In fact, actually, if anybody here needs them, please consider going to ddlgplayground.com using coupon code Suris. You can get 10% off of a butt plug that way. There was no plug in the actual content, so we needed to do it that way. Boom. We did it. We managed it, everybody. We did it, everyone. But yeah, no, this was, I know this feels like it's almost a nothing piece. It's not like this is what's going on in Texas right now. It's not like this is the vaccine lottery that was going on in Ohio. This isn't one of those like super pressing things that I normally would talk about on my channel, but this is a pressing issue because of something that I enjoy. And because my hobbies generally go into the Nekosuris channel, but the politics go on the main one, again, I got stuck in this really weird area. That was weird. Weird. Kermit the Frog came out there for a second. But it puts me in this really weird space where the subject matter goes in the hobby category, but the argumentation puts it very firmly on the main channel. So I guess if you guys needed a break from the intense stuff to just look at something that is benign but yet relatable for almost everybody, I guess this would be it. With that said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't followed over on Twitch or subscribed over on YouTube already, please consider doing so. There are 3 channels over on YouTube. The main one, Nekosuris for the hobby-related stuff, and then, of course, Sunset City, which is the podcast for talking with Game Apologist, Channel Pup, and Wayne is Boss. But with all that said, I've taken up plenty of your time on what is largely a nothing topic. As always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. If you want access to behind-the-scenes content for the channel, please consider checking out my Patreon. I do weekly vlogs over there, where I give real-life updates to what's going on behind the scenes on the channel, stuff that you don't really get over here, and even on Twitch. Patreon also helps the channel's stability a whole lot. Without Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. Especially with the kind of content that I do, neither YouTube nor Twitch are the most stable sources of income. If you are a $20 and up patron, then you will be featured on the ending slides as shown in the beginning of the end credits. If you want to catch the streams where all this content comes from, then consider heading over to Twitch and following. And if you want to continue watching over here on YouTube, maybe consider clicking one of the end screen videos. And once again, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me over on my channel. I wouldn't be able to do literally anything that I'm doing over here on YouTube without each and every one of you. So, thank you.